asked to name the hardest hitter he ever encountered, he didn't hesitate. On the big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal, the former undisputed heavyweight champion pointed to one name above all others, Razor Ruddock. Ruddock, known for his devastating left hook and uppercut hybrid dubbed the Smash, gave Tyson two of his toughest tests during their prime years. Razor Ruddock, Tyson said without pause, adding, "There's a lot of hard punchers out there. Holyfield, yeah, and all of those guys are hard punchers. But the purpose is they can't land the punch." Tyson's defensive skills in his prime were often overlooked because of his knockout power. As he explained, "I know you look at me, you see me, but I don't get hit much when I was at my prime. That was the whole objective." Still, Ruddock managed to leave an impression, both physically and mentally, on the man once considered the most feared fighter on the planet. Their first bout in March 1991 ended in controversy. Tyson stopped Ruddock in the 7th round, but many fans and critics argued that the referee stepped in too early. Determined to clear the air, the two met again just 3 months later. The rematch was brutal and went the distance, with Tyson dropping Ruddock twice before winning a unanimous decision. While Tyson fought many legends, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Larry Holmes, he credits Ruddock not only for his power but also for his toughness and the psychological warfare inside the ring. Unlike other punchers who folded under Tyson's relentless pressure, Ruddock came forward, fired back, and absorbed an extraordinary amount of punishment without backing down. Their rivalry never reached trilogy status, but those two fights helped cement Ruddock's reputation as one of the most dangerous men of the heavyweight era. For Tyson, who built a legacy on delivering knockouts, admitting someone else's power left that kind of mark speaks volumes. Razor Ruddock may not have captured a heavyweight title, but in Tyson's eyes, he delivered like a champion when it came to sheer punching power. Tony Bellew believes only a select few stand a chance against Alexander Usyk, and he's not shy about naming them. With Usyk now reigning as a two-time undisputed heavyweight champion, the first man in the four-belt era to hold that honor twice, many wonder who can realistically challenge the Ukrainian. After dominant wins over Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and most recently a 5th-round stoppage of Daniel Dubois, the list of legitimate threats has grown thinner. Despite Usyk's near-flawless run through the heavyweight division, Bellew, who once shared the ring with him at cruiserweight, thinks there's still one man who pushed him more than the rest. Speaking to TalkSport Boxing, Bellew pointed directly at the man Usyk has already defeated twice. "People won't like this," Bellew said, "but the person who gives him the best fight is Tyson Fury, probably. People don't like me saying that, but he's the one who's given him the most trouble." Usyk and Fury have gone 12 rounds twice, with the Ukrainian edging both contests. In their first bout, Usyk won a narrow decision that some felt could have gone either way. In the rematch, he was more dominant, yet Fury still posed problems with his size, awkward rhythm, and in-ring intelligence. Bellew also noted Joshua as another who caused Usyk difficulties. The rematch with AJ was level going into round 10, Bellew said, suggesting that Joshua's power, athleticism, and improved strategy in their second meeting made it more competitive than some remember. Now, Usyk is being lined up to face WBO mandatory Joseph Parker, who has been on a strong run of form with wins over Martin Bacol, Zhilei Zhang, and Deontay Wilder. It's a matchup with real merit given Parker's recent performances, but Bellew's comments underscore just how rare it is to find someone capable of giving Usyk genuine trouble. Rising prospect Moses Italma has also been floated as a future opponent. Still just 19 and undefeated in 12 fights, many believe it's too early to throw him in with a generational talent like Usyk. For now, the heavyweight champion remains in a class of his own, and according to Bellew, only Fury or Joshua might have a real shot at knocking him off that throne. Shannon Briggs has weighed in on one of boxing's most fascinating what-ifs, how a dream matchup between Alexander Usyk and Evander Holyfield would play out. Both fighters are part of an exclusive club, men who ruled as undisputed champions at both cruiserweight and heavyweight. But Briggs believes the Ukrainian style and stamina would prove too much even for a legend like Holyfield. Usyk etched his name in history in May 2024 when he defeated Tyson Fury to become the first man in the four-belt era to hold all major heavyweight titles. After beating Fury again in their rematch, he recently knocked out Daniel Dubois to become a two-time undisputed champion, further solidifying his legacy. Holyfield, of course, built his resume in a golden era. Victories over Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Larry Holmes, and Riddick Bowe cemented his status. Yet, Briggs argues that the sport has evolved and that Usyk's modern approach would overwhelm even a prime Holyfield. Usyk is just different, Briggs told First Round TV. The fighters are different now. They're throwing more punches, the game's changed. It's more about conditioning. Holyfield is a machine, no doubt, but now it's about relentless pressure and pace. Briggs emphasized that in today's boxing landscape, endurance is as important as skill. You can be skillful for 4 or 5 rounds, but if that guy keeps pressing, and you can't stop it, your body breaks down. Usyk's like that, he's still throwing in the 12th round like it's the first. Nobody's done that before. The Ukrainian's engine, footwork, and volume punching have become his trademarks, wearing down opponents over the distance. That level of output and pressure, Briggs believes, would eventually drown even a warrior as tough and durable as Holyfield. Now, the question shifts from fantasy to reality. What's next for Usyk? He could defend his belts against New Zealand's Joseph Parker, who's risen back into contention with impressive performances. But there's also buzz around a potential crossover fight, with Jake Paul reportedly pushing for an MMA bout with the Ukrainian inside the octagon, an unlikely yet headline-grabbing detour. Whether Usyk stays the course in boxing or ventures into new territory, his stock continues to rise. And in debates about greatness across eras, his name is now being spoken in the same breath as all-time legends like Holyfield, a testament to the remarkable run he's currently on. Tyson Fury may be retired on paper, but his recent interviews suggest the door is far from closed. The former WBC heavyweight champion has been hinting at a return, even as he recovers from back-to-back defeats to Alexander Usyk. Though Fury insists he won those fights, the record tells another story. Usyk clearly outboxed him, especially in the rematch that ended in a unanimous decision. The first fight saw Fury staggered so badly he was held up by the ropes. Those 2 losses snapped an unbeaten run that had lasted his entire professional career. It also ended his reign as WBC champion, a title he'd won in dominant fashion by defeating Deontay Wilder in their 2020 rematch, then defending it in their thrilling trilogy bout in 2021. That fight remains one of the most dramatic heavyweight wars in recent memory, solidifying Fury's reputation as a true showman and warrior. Now, as the dust settles on his second Usyk defeat, Fury is leaving the door ajar for one more run. Speaking to IFL TV, he made it clear he's in no rush. "Don't hold your breath, it's not going to be this year," he said. "But it might be next year. If I get the right offer, I'll come back in 2026. If it turns me on, I'll come back. But if there's no turn on, I'll stay retired." Titles aren't the motivation anymore. Fury's past that. Now it's about moments, legacy, and the spectacle. When asked who could tempt him back into the ring, he rattled off names that would stir the boxing world. AJ, Usyk, Dubois, any of them, or maybe all of them. If there's one fight that feels unfinished, it's Fury versus Anthony Joshua. The all-British showdown has long been discussed but never realized. With both men in the twilight of their careers, the clock is ticking. Usyk seems to have closed the chapter on his rivalry with Fury, and Daniel Dubois still has rebuilding to do. But Joshua? That fight still sells. The hype, the history, the clash of styles. It's the kind of bout that could convince Fury to lace up the gloves one more time. Whether it's about redemption or simply the thrill of the spotlight, don't count out the Gypsy King just yet. Floyd Mayweather remains the only man to have defeated Canelo Alvarez decisively, a feat he accomplished in 2013 when the two clashed at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. That night, Mayweather schooled the young Mexican star with a masterclass in defense and timing, cruising to a majority decision win and handing Canelo the first loss of his career. But what stands out even more than the result was the weight disparity. Mayweather later revealed he entered the ring at 149 pounds, while Canelo rehydrated to around 165. Despite the gap, Mayweather emphasized that weight wasn't the defining factor. It was skill that made the difference. "It's really about the skills," he said. "Not about the weight. If it was, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did at junior middleweight." That mindset, placing ring IQ above size, rings especially true now, as Terence Crawford prepares to do what Mayweather did over a decade ago, topple Canelo Alvarez. Crawford, who's moved from lightweight to welterweight and most recently to super welterweight, will now leap into uncharted territory at 168 pounds to challenge for Canelo's undisputed super middleweight crown on September 13th in Las Vegas. It's a bold move, one that has sparked concerns about the size difference. On fight night, it's expected there could be as much as a 20-pound gap between them. Yet Crawford supporters point to examples like Mayweather's win as proof that elite boxing skill can neutralize power and size. Crawford himself has dismantled opponents at every level, and with 2 undisputed championships already on his resume, he's 1 win away from making history as the first male fighter to become undisputed in 3 weight divisions. Meanwhile, Canelo has only improved since that 2013 defeat. He's captured titles in 4 weight classes, avenged losses, and most recently became the first 2-time undisputed champion at 168. He's no longer the 23-year-old who struggled against Mayweather's defense. He's a polished, punishing force with decades of championship experience. Still, as fight night nears, the conversation echoes back to Mayweather's words, "It's not about the weight, it's about the skills." And Crawford's are undeniable. The countdown is on for one of the most anticipated fights in recent boxing history, as Canelo Alvarez prepares to defend his undisputed super middleweight titles against Terence Crawford on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Crawford, who most recently captured the WBA super welterweight title, will make a bold leap up in weight, 2 full divisions from where he once ruled as the undisputed welterweight champion. The move to 168 pounds has raised eyebrows across the boxing world. Canelo, a proven force at super middleweight with a granite chin and punishing body attack, is considered by many to be too big and too experienced at this weight. But Terence "Bud" Crawford has never been one to back away from challenges. With pristine technique, an elite ring IQ, and one of the highest boxing IQs in the sport, Crawford brings an aura of invincibility that has followed him across 3 weight classes. While many pundits and fans have pegged Crawford as the underdog, some boxing legends are backing him to do what few believe is possible. Former undisputed welterweight champion Zab Judah is among the believers. Judah spoke passionately about Crawford's chances, stating he sees a path to not only victory, but a potential knockout. Judah pointed to Crawford's adaptability and physical presence, adding that when he saw the 2 men side by side, he saw no significant size disadvantage. Judah even went as far as to say fans should not be shocked if Crawford stops Canelo, a statement that sent waves through the boxing community. It's a bold claim considering Canelo's durability, with the Mexican star never having been knocked out in over 60 professional bouts. Still, Judah's confidence speaks to Crawford's growing legend and the belief that his skill set can overcome size. Deontay Wilder has also thrown his support behind Crawford. The former WBC heavyweight champion praised "Bud" for his fearless mentality and believes he has the mindset and tools to shock the world once again. The clash between Alvarez and Crawford represents more than a title fight, it's a battle of legacy. For Crawford, victory would mean joining the pantheon of all-time greats across 4 weight classes. For Canelo, it's another chance to fend off a hungry challenger and further solidify his reign. Gabriela Dabrowski's return to tennis has taken on a new purpose. The 33-year-old Canadian doubles star, fresh off receiving the key to her hometown of Ottawa, is no longer chasing trophies with tunnel vision. After undergoing 2 surgeries to treat breast cancer in 2024, she's found perspective that has forever changed her approach to the game. Health, not hardware, now takes top priority. Dabrowski said if tennis were taken away from her tomorrow, she'd be sad, but as long as she's healthy, that's what matters most. Her gratitude is evident in every serve and volley. The wins are still sweet, the losses sting less, and the joy comes from sharing each moment with the people who supported her through the most difficult year of her life. Despite keeping her diagnosis private for months, Dabrowski still managed an Olympic bronze medal with Felix Auger-Aliassime in Paris and claimed the WTA Finals title with partner Aaron Roundup. That success, earned while silently navigating her health battle, now holds deeper meaning. Returning from surgery, every practice felt like a gift. Competing became something she chooses, not something she has to do. This season has presented another obstacle, a lingering rib injury that sidelined her more than the cancer itself. Yet Dabrowski and Roundup still lifted the Stuttgart Open trophy in April and reached the Wimbledon quarterfinals, despite not being at full strength. Dabrowski estimates she's operating at about 80% capacity, carefully balancing training volume with recovery. The duo will be among the top seeds at the National Bank Open in Montreal, Dabrowski's first tournament on Canadian soil since going public with her story. She admits she may not be fully prepared, but trusts in Roundup to help shoulder the load as she works her way back. Dabrowski is also hoping to reunite with Auger-Aliassime for mixed doubles at the US Open, though their participation isn't guaranteed. With a revamped format prioritizing high singles rankings and only 16 of 25 teams making the draw, some top doubles players like Dabrowski might be left out. She questions whether such a format should award a Grand Slam trophy if it excludes the sport's best mixed pairs. Still, she remains focused on what she can control, her health, her effort, and the meaning behind each match she plays. Winning is still rewarding, but surviving, returning, and thriving, that's the real triumph. Leylah Fernandez is through to her first semi-final of the 2025 season after a determined straight sets win over American qualifier and former doubles partner Taylor Townsend at the City Open. The Canadian prevailed 6-4, 7-6, 4 on Friday in a gritty performance that showcased her return game, fighting spirit, and timely resilience in Washington's summer heat. The 22-year-old from Laval, Quebec, was aggressive throughout, creating an impressive 23 breakpoint opportunities. Though she converted just 5 of them, it proved enough to edge Townsend, who managed to capitalize on 4 of her 7 chances. Fernandez's ability to stay focused during pressure points, especially while battling cramps late in the second set, helped her seal the match in a tight tiebreak. Friday's result followed Fernandez's upset of top-seeded Jessica Pegula the previous day, giving her a 2-match stretch of quality wins as she gains momentum ahead of next week's National Bank Open in Montreal. Her semi-final opponent will be either number 3 seed Elena Rybakina or 5th seeded Magdalena Frech, both of whom present tough challenges on the hard court. Fernandez's run in Washington marks a return to the Final Four alongside Emma Raducanu, her old rival from the 2021 US Open final. That tournament in New York launched both players into the global spotlight, and now, nearly 4 years later, they're back contending deep into a significant WTA event. It's the first time since their clash at Flushing Meadows that they've both reached the semi-finals of the same tournament. Townsend, meanwhile, continues to show signs of promise in her singles resurgence. While the result didn't go her way this time, her performance throughout the week highlighted her trademark creativity and power, which helped her get past a tough draw in qualifying and reach the quarterfinals. The match also carried emotional weight, as Fernandez and Townsend shared a strong doubles partnership in 2023, reaching the finals of Roland Garros in Miami, along with a US Open quarterfinal appearance. Their familiarity on court was evident in several high-level exchanges, but in the end, it was Fernandez's relentless baseline play and grit under pressure that proved decisive. As the City Open heads into the final stretch, Fernandez is showing signs that she may be peaking at just the right time for the North American hardcourt season. Emma Raducanu punched her ticket to the semifinals of the DC Open, marking her deepest run at a tournament of this magnitude since her fairy tale US Open triumph in 2021. Facing off against 7th-seeded Maria Sakkari on a sweltering Friday afternoon, Raducanu prevailed 6-4, 7-5 after staging a gritty comeback in the second set. Down 5-2, she rattled off 5 consecutive games, even after calling a medical timeout due to the punishing heat and humidity. The British star admitted afterward that the 90-degree conditions took a toll. "I would like to say I'm pretty good in the heat, for the most part, but I was really struggling today," she said. "It was one of the toughest matches, conditions-wise, I have ever played in. Those points in the second set, I was getting a bit wobbly." Still, Raducanu found enough in reserve to close the match in 2 sets, avoiding a decider and conserving valuable energy heading into the weekend. Awaiting Raducanu in the semi-finals is the winner of the match between number 4 seed Klara Tauson and Anna Kalinskaya. Both players present their own challenges, but Raducanu will carry plenty of momentum and confidence into that contest. Meanwhile, Leylah Fernandez, Raducanu's opponent in the 2021 US Open final, also booked her spot in the semis. The Canadian defeated American qualifier Taylor Townsend 6-4, 7-6, 4, in a tight battle that featured high-quality baseline exchanges and pressure moments. Fernandez, who has quietly pieced together a solid summer, now faces a tougher test in either third-seeded Elena Rybakina or Magdalena Frech, who stunned Venus Williams earlier in the tournament. On the men's side, Frenchman Corentin Moutet made headlines with a gritty 3-set win over 2021 US Open champion Daniil Medvedev. After dropping the opening set 6-1, Moutet battled back with his trademark variety and touch, claiming the next 2 sets 6-4, 6-4. The final set was interrupted by a lightning delay late in the third, but Moutet kept his composure to close out one of the biggest wins of his career. With the semi-finals now set to deliver some intriguing matchups, the DC Open continues to offer a compelling blend of breakthrough performances, top-tier talent, and dramatic weather delays, all setting the stage for an exciting finish to the tournament. Lionel Messi and Jordi Alba were extremely upset after learning they would miss Inter Miami's upcoming match due to skipping the MLS All-Star Game, according to co-owner Jorge Mas. Both players had just returned to practice and were expected to play, but MLS rules state that any player who misses the All-Star Game without prior league approval is barred from participating in their club's next game. Inter Miami faces first-place FC Cincinnati in a highly anticipated match without Messi and Alba. Mas expressed hope that this suspension won't have long-term effects on Messi, especially as contract talks to extend the World Cup champions deal continue. He described Messi's reaction as expected but deeply disappointed. MLS Commissioner Don Garber called the decision complicated, emphasizing that it was based on Messi's intense workload. Since early April, Messi has played every minute in 22 out of 23 matches, missing only 1 game due to injury. Garber praised Messi's impact on the league, both on and off the field, but said the policy had to be enforced fairly for all players. Mas explained the club's decision to withhold Messi and Alba from the All-Star Game came after a demanding schedule of 9 games in 35 days, with another grueling stretch of 10 games in 34 days looming. He acknowledged communication with the league had not been handled ideally, with the league announcing the players' All-Star absence just hours before the event. Mas highlighted Messi's unique status, noting how he transformed the league's economics for clubs, sponsors, and media. Still, he pointed out that Messi's main focus is competitive matches. Mas felt the rule sidelining his stars was harsh, placing players in a tough spot between participating in the All-Star exhibition and resting during a taxing season. Many starters in the All-Star Game played only about 30 minutes before returning to regular season play. The debate over Messi's absence sparked significant attention during the league's showcase event. Garber stressed Messi's extraordinary on-field contributions, calling each game a must-watch and praising his unwavering commitment to Inter Miami. He recognized Messi's desire to rest amid a packed schedule, including the upcoming Club World Cup. Garber told Mas he plans to review the rule to better align it with the evolving nature of MLS and its players. Mas agreed the rule would likely change but insisted the players' reaction, extreme disappointment, was expected. Despite the setback, the focus remains on Messi's value to the club and league as negotiations continue.